much as I love to watch movies. And one of my favorite authors is Dan Brown. You all know who Dan Brown is? He was the one who wrote the Da Vinci Code. And I have read every book, pretty much, that he's written. And he has a new book out called Origin. And it's about the age-old conflict between science and religion. Isn't that silly? I'm so glad to be in unity where we know, well, science may be in conflict with religion, but it's not in conflict with spirituality. How could it be? If it's all God, science and spirituality have to agree. But in the book, our hero, Robert Langdon, said science and religion are not competitors, and I love the way he describes this. He said they're two different languages trying to describe the same story. Isn't that a great definition? Two different languages trying to describe the same story. Well, the book is also about artificial intelligence. Interesting topic nowadays. It is here. And in the book, the author feels that in 50 years, there'll be a new kingdom upon the earth, and it will be called Technium. It's all going to be technical stuff. He writes, we become a hybrid species, a fusion of biology and technology. The same tools that today live outside our bodies, smartphones, hearing aids, reading glasses, most pharmaceuticals, God knows how many we're on in here, right? In 50 years, will be incorporated into our bodies to such an extent that we will no longer be able to consider ourselves Homo sapiens. We will be bionic. And if you look around, you see people walking around like this, right? You know, and they're doing the thing with their thumb. Nobody walks around without a cell phone anymore. We've got medical pacemakers. I've got a valve inside of me. The bionic man and the bionic woman are no longer sci-fi. It's here. We are it. And so the question has to be asked, if life is consciousness, does artificial intelligence have a conscience? Well, we all know people who are conscious, who have an intelligence, but don't have a conscience, right? So it's the same with artificial intelligence. And it's here now. And some call it good, some call it bad. It's really neither one. It's all in whether or not we use it consciously. Remember the movie Space Odyssey 2000? Remember Hal, the computer named Hal? Well, in the book, the virtual reality human is called Winston. And you just grow to love him. He is just adorable. He's an artificial intelligence called E-Wave. And you know, we think of this as science fiction, but how many of you have one of those little Amazon devices that you put in your house? Some of you have it. Is it called Alexis? Is that what it's called? I love that. Well, I won't even get into that, but somebody posted one where they have one now that's married to AARP because none of us can remember the name of the thing, so it'll answer to anything. But that's a whole other story. Look it up on YouTube. It's absolutely hilarious. Anyway, this Winston, you really get to love him in this book, but toward the end, you're not quite sure you can trust him, you know? And so my message today is called Space Odyssey 2017, or is it Hal or is it God? All right? The book is also about atheists and Christian and that conflict. And there's actually an atheist prayer. Believe it or not, there's an atheist prayer in the book. Here it is. May our philosophies keep pace with our technologies. May our compassion keep pace with our powers. And may love, not fear, be the engine of change. That's a pretty good prayer for an atheist, isn't it? Almost sounds like a unity prayer. I also found a joke on the internet. How many atheists does it take to change a light bulb? 2. One to actually change the light bulb, and the other one to videotape the job so the fundamentalists don't claim that God did it. And moan, groan, you can yell if you want to. So the book asks many questions. The book asks, where did we come from? Where are we going? Where's God in all this? What is God and who are we? Where did we come from? And has religion led us astray? And will science lead us back? Interesting questions. Dan Brown talks about religion and spirituality having two different mission statements. You know, everybody has to have a mission statement nowadays, don't they? And he said the mission statement of religion is this: to proclaim the truth and authority of the Bible and to affirm its reliability, in particular, its Genesis history. Now there right away you can get into trouble if it has to do with symbols and stories and myths. How do you find the truth? What is it really trying to say? Jesus said the truth will set us free. But can we find it in the symbols and the stories and the myths? If they're rightly interpreted, probably can. Maybe, maybe not. Now, unity, thank God, is not a religion. We're a spiritual movement, a spiritual organization, not a religion. But religion separates us with rules, with structure. You have to believe this to be one of us. You have to do this behavior to be one of us. We can only access God through rules, laws, behaviors, accepted beliefs that we all share. That's religion. But spirituality sings a whole different tune. We're united in knowing the truth of our union with God. And we access that through our hearts and through our minds. What a difference, what a difference. The mission statement of spirituality might be, know thyself. Be still and know that I am God. Or as Jesus said, the Father and I are one. What a difference. So unity, we know that spirituality is not in conflict with science. Maybe religion is, but not spirituality. Now, my favorite part of all this, I always call it a dance. In unity, we honor the science and the spirituality together. And I call it the dance of the science of metaphysics with the spirituality of mysticism. The science of metaphysics with the spirituality of mysticism. Dancing hand in hand. Let me give you an example. The science of metaphysics is this. God is science. God is principle. God is natural laws of the universe. The law of cause and effect. You don't have to believe in it. It is a natural law. If you constantly have thoughts and words that are going out, have states of consciousness that are being expressed, it's going to show out as creativity in the world. It's going to show up in your life. The principle of creation by extending consciousness, by extending your thoughts and words. That's a natural law. That's science. Then we have the spirituality of mysticism, which is simply God is love. Knowing yourself in relationship, in union with God, and then extending love, constantly extending the love that you are. Be still and know that I am God. Well, the next thing the book addresses is, was it the Big Bang Theory or the creation story? Which is right? Which is right? And of course the book speaks from science. And first we have to understand how the Big Bang happened. And then we can understand everything else falls into place once we understand this. First of all, if anybody here ever has a teapot or any kind of a pressure cooker, you know that pressure builds up. And when that pressure builds up, it has to be dissipated, right? And so tornadoes, hurricanes, volcanoes, all of are about pressure building up, and then something's got to go. So the entire cosmos, Dan Brown says, is simply spread that energy that's bursting out. He said, as it turns out, life is an exceptionally effective tool for dissipating energy. The entire operating system of the cosmos could be summed up by a single overriding command: spread energy. I would call it love. Spread love. That's the creative power of the universe. So to make it practical, to make this practical in the so what department, so how is this for me in my life day by day? If we know love is the highest and most powerful energy, and love is constantly extending itself in the creative process, give love to an idea. Give love to whatever idea you would like to manifest on earth as it is in heaven. Love creates, fear destroys. Love creates, fear destroys. All we have to do is extend love to create a better world. Isn't that fun? So if love spreads energy, we need to spread a little more of that around instead of some other stuff that gets spread around now. The book ends on hope. The book ends on hope. It says, I urge you to place your faith in the human capacity for creativity and love. Between these two forces, when combined, possess the power to illumine any darkness. Wow. That's why unity is founded on the dance of the science of metaphysics and the mysticism of spirituality, dancing together. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity with Myrtle, Charles was scientifically, metaphysically minded. He came from Missouri. He wanted to prove everything. He was a show-me state. If we can't prove it, it isn't true. Where Myrtle was simply that loving, mystical faith. I know prayer works. I know God is love. I know I'm one with God. That's all she needed. And together, the metaphysics and the mysticism, the mind and the heart, they created by giving love to the idea of a movement that would spread across the world. They created the movement of unity, and that's why we're here this morning, because of the dance of opposites, the science and the spirituality, the metaphysics and the mysticism. Power of the mind, the power of the heart. Well, enough serious stuff. Let's get back to joking around, shall we? I found a joke about what happens when we're always in conflict with that. It leads to dysfunctional behavior. Here's an example. There was a story about a priest, a rabbi, and a skeptical atheist. Got that? Priest, rabbi, and skeptical atheist. The atheist must have been from Missouri because he was very skeptical. And they're both going to the guillotine, about to be beheaded. Oh my God. So the rabbi was first. They dragged him up, and before they pulled the rope, they said, any final words before we do this? And he said, yes, I believe in the one and only true God, and he shall save me. And the executioner doesn't care. He pulls it, and that blade starts going down faster and faster and faster, and just as it gets to its neck, it stops. It stops, and the rabbi said, I told you so, and the crowd say it's a miracle, and the executioner has to let him go. That's the law. It didn't work. They've got to let him go. Well, next in line was the priest. Again, they drag him up, give him a chance to say some final words. He said, I believe in Jesus Christ, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, who will rescue me in my hour of need. Now, the executioner doesn't care. He pulls it. Blade starts coming down faster, faster, and just as it gets to his neck, it stops. The crowds yell out, another miracle. And the executioner, a little disappointed, but he says, okay, set him free. Finally, it was the skeptical atheist's turn. And he too was given a chance to say some final words. But he wasn't even listening to them. He was so busy looking around at the guillotine, trying to figure it out, he seemed lost. And not until the executioner poked him in the ribs and the question was asked again, did he reply, oh, I see your problem. You've got a blockage in the gear assembly right here. You'll get the irony of that about 3 in the morning, okay? You see how conflict can make for dysfunctional behavior. I say we go back to prayer. Let's just go deep with him where all opposites are one. All opposites are part of the whole. All viewpoints, all perspectives. There is only one presence, one power. There is no separation. There is no conflict. Only the harmony of peace and love. And we are all a part of it, each expressing it in our own unique and individual ways. We just bless it. We call it all good. And we say, thank you, Father, Mother, God, in the nature of the Christ. And so it is. Amen.
Please join us in singing Get Together. It's in